Welcome. Another episode of Fade the Deuce. Joined as always, Mr. Matt, your cumber, my cumber.
Everybody's cumber.
He's everybody's cumber. And watch out, it's hot coming. It's hot down there.
He's
Woo!
sizzling, folks.
Whoo! Got those flamethrowers out, Kev. After a big week, Kev is 24-17 at a 60% clip. We better watch out because one of these big, sites or sponsors are going to come calling for you and they're going to snatch you away from us.
DraftKings is next.
Yeah. And then 11 and a half up for units.
Maybe Brad Evans would give me some go, man. You know,
There we go.
Yeah.
Illinois is right there.
Yeah. And Matt McCumber, 18-23, negative 10.5 units. But
it's all in my locks. Trust me.
Matt's over 500 when you remove the locks.
Oh,
I mean,
we are calling Matt's locks folds until he gets one right.
That's right.
So he is folding, and I think that's going to be the reverse jinx we need to get him where he needs to go. So, I think but you know what? We're halfway through the season. Or maybe we still got the college football playoff stuff, so you got plenty of time. We'll get right into it this week. Kevin's actually going to be at this game down in Dallas. It's a game you guys may have heard of. What is it, Kev? The Red River.
It's a shootout. Don't call it the rivalry. It's the Red River shootout.
The Red River shootout between the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners. Texas is a 14.5-point favorite, a neutral field. Oklahoma has definitely got a lot to work out offensively. You know, they're coming off of a bye, but also a big win in Auburn where, they probably shouldn't have won the game, but, Hugh Freeze and Peyton Thorne were able to figure out how to do that, and they did it well. There's some momentum for OU for sure. Now for Texas, Quinn Ewers had been out and Arch Manning took the reins. Okay, Arch Manning looks good. Has it been announced? Like, how long is Ewers out?
He's back this week.
He's supposedly coming back.
So he's got his job back.
Yes, I think they're going to give it to him regardless. Yes.
Okay, good. So 14.5-point favorite. So Matt, we're going to start with you in this one.
Yeah, so, I live in the area, have seen my fair share of Texas OU games at the Cotton Bowl, and this game is always expect the unexpected. You never know in this type of shootout game here between these two teams. OU 7-2, last 9 straight up versus Texas, and 3-1 against the spread, last 4. Okay. You're right. OU's been in dire straits on the offensive end. They had a QB change. They got Hawkins in there now. Yes, he led them to victory at Auburn. Really big win for him. Really kind of give them some momentum. Both teams are coming off byes. To me, Ewers coming into the game, if he is going to start, is he rusty? How can he incorporate himself back into the lineup? He's obviously very talented. OU defense hasn't given up more than 25 points all year. Pretty stout defense. That's what their coach hangs his hat on. Do they have enough on the offensive end to keep this within 2 touchdowns? It's anybody's guess. But me, personally, I'm going with what I started off this segment with is expect the unexpected. And as much as I hate to do it, I don't love that OU can't go out and really score the ball at will, because if this is a shootout, they have no chance. They cannot compete with Texas. Texas got too many players on both sides. But against my better judgment, I'm going to take the Sooners here, plus 14.5. Something about rivalry games. I think it's going to be closer than expected. Maybe a 10-point game here and there. But I'm going to take the Sooners plus 14.5.
Now, Kevin, before you make your pick here, are you going to be wearing Sooner gear or are you a neutral party here?
Oh, Boomer Sooner, dude. I just went and picked up a new OU shirt, getting a new OU hat. I'm ready to go, dude. No,
He's an Okie.
Yeah, I know.
I've lived here. I am not an Oklahoma fan. I'm an Oklahoma supporter. All right, there's a big difference. I'm a fan of one team only. That's Illinois.
Okay.
But
So
here's
if Oklahoma and Illinois played, it's easy who you're picking.
oh, dude, yeah.
Come
on, no, dude, come on, man. I had orange walls and blue carpet when I was a kid. Like I am I'm Illinois through and through.
It's funny. I have blue carpet too.
Okay. I assume that, but I'm thinking if you're in Oklahoma, the game was in Norman. I mean, I could see you putting orange and blue.
Oh, I'd be an orange and blue loud as I actually thought about wearing a Illini orange and blue to the game, and courtesy to my friend who's giving me the ticket as a big OU fan. But here's the thing. So I've actually always kind of liked Oklahoma, and here's the reason why. I've shared this on the show before. In 1986, Nebraska comes to town. There's little 8-year-old me in the stands. And Nebraska beats us 59-14 in Champaign. I felt like they ran up the score, left their starters in late. Their running back's name was Keith Jones, just like our running back number 36 was Keith Jones, and they just kicked our ass. And so I hated Nebraska. I really hated Nebraska back then. And Nebraska and Oklahoma would always play on Thanksgiving weekend. It was the big game. It was a lot of times it was the game of the year. And they had Brian Bosworth, which I thought was really cool. And so I've always kind of liked, and then I loved Sam Bradford. I loved that team back in 08.
I just realized he's in those Dr. Pepper Fansville commercials. I didn't know that was Brian Bosworth.
Yep.
Yeah, and I run into Sam Bradford quite often now. I see him. He goes to my church. His kids go to my kid's school.
That's
really
cool, man.
Really, really good dude. So my heart says Oklahoma here. My head says Texas. But I've been trusting my gut all year. I'm with Matt on this one. Okay, so Texas scored 31 against Michigan. I do believe Oklahoma's offense is a little bit better than Michigan's.
Yes.
I actually think Oklahoma's defense is probably better than Michigan's right now.
Yes.
Michigan's been yielding a lot of points, and it's just, hey, listen, the record you talked about at the beginning of the show, Ryan, and like I am proud of where we're like where it's at, but like I don't do the research that Matt does. I don't have all the numbers that Matt has, and I just trust guts. And that's what Matt's doing on this pick, and I'm going to roll with him here. I think 14.5 is too big of a number in a game like this where weird shit happens. All right. Now, you go look back at the history of this game. You look for multi-score victories, and you just don't see
not many.
You saw it a couple of years ago when Dylan Gabriel was out and Texas beat Oklahoma 49-0. But other than that, you look at all these games. The last time there was more than a 10-point spread was back in 2018. That one was actually in Arlington, it says here. But almost every single game here is within a one-score game. Very rarely do you see more than a one-score game going back over the past 20 years. So I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to get 14.5 and think that the bye week that Oklahoma can come up with something offensively. Their quarterback, they replaced the quarterback. They went from Jackson Arnold to Mac Hawkins. It seems like he's playing well. Ewers did not play well in this game a year ago, and I think Oklahoma's defense is better. Oklahoma's defense is going to have to keep them in this game. I think they can keep Texas around or under 30. So if it's 28, I think it could be 28-14, and that hook gives me the leeway there. Give me the Sooners plus the 14.5.
Love it.
Okay. Well, there you go. And I get the logic on it. I know it's
OU's got so banged up on the offensive line and at wide receiver. It's really tough for them. This could be a trounce. I really hope not for the one. Like I'd really suck to go to the game as 49-0 again. Like that would just be atrocious for me going to the first one I've ever been to. And there's been so many great games in this series. I mean, last year was one of the most amazing games anybody watched all year. If anybody watched that game, it was incredible. The Caleb Williams game a couple years ago was just incredible. I mean, the 4 OT game in 2020 was just insane. The 2019, I mean, the series has produced some of the best college football games of the year in and year out. It'll be my luck. It'll be like 38-0, 38-0 Texas.
But real quick before we go to transition to the next game, one of my favorite movies that people don't talk about a lot with Brian Bosworth, Stone Cold.
Stone Cold before Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, you need to, if you haven't watched that.
I haven't watched that. Yeah,
Brian Bosworth is like a cop undercover who joins like a biker gang. It's before Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, okay.
And he goes undercover and he's like this badass, and then he infiltrates them. It's a good movie. So
wait. It's a fun movie. The movie sucks, but it's fun.
It's good, as in like I enjoyed it. Like
you got to walk into that movie just expecting a total dude flick. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But Kevin, it is fun. It's fun.
No, dude, Predator is one of my all-time favorite movies, and the people say it sucks, so I don't care.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to switch to the big stage, big life, Big Ten, and a team that's reeling, the USC Trojans, after losing to Minnesota up in Minneapolis. And I think we've noticed a trend here with you guys. For you guys with USC, they can't stop the run.
No.
And, Michigan really exposed them bad in Ann Arbor, and then Minnesota last week did the same thing. And surprisingly, Minnesota has a very good pass defense, apparently. And they were able to limit and contain Moss and the whiteout crew there. And Lincoln Riley wasn't able to, score more than 17 points. They weren't able to do anything. So that was a very big, surprising win for the Gophers there. But you're back home. You already know they're going to be amped and ready for this. But Penn State coming off of a mellow, it was like 27-3 before UCLA got a garbage touchdown. So they weren't covering. They didn't cover the 27, the 28.5 spread or whatever last week. So they're struggling to put it in the end zone. They've been settling for field goals. Illinois kept them out of the end zone quite a bit, and UCLA was able to do that as well. So 5-point favorite, Penn State, out in the Coliseum. Kevin, we'll start with you on this one. Do you think Penn State is going to just pound the ball and do what they got to do to get at least a touchdown victory here?
I have no freaking idea. This is the spread that it's got me most perplexed, right? Like I talked about in the last one, like my head is really saying that Texas minus 14.5 is probably the play, but like Matt alluded to, it's a wild game, it's a rivalry game. You don't know what to make of it. I'm gonna take the Trojans at home plus the points here. Penn State beat up on us, right? But we have flaws in the interior offensive line and the defensive line. I don't think that USC, even though they've given up 160 yards rushing a game this year, which is the second worst in the Big Ten behind Purdue.
It's 17th in the league.
Yeah. But there's part of me, I was like looking at it, I wanted to see what the over-under was. If the over-under was like 44.5, I was going to take the over. It's 50. It's a little bit too high for my taste here. Yep. And then when I feel like a game won't get over 50 points and I get the home team plus 5, I'm going to take the home team here. I think USC has more weapons on the outside. I think we saw what Illinois did with Bryant and with Franklin at points in time in the game. If they can keep Miller, I think they probably have a better offensive line than Illinois. I think that they can keep Miller and Moss upright. They're going to be able to score on Penn State a little bit. And if you're able to score on Penn State a little bit, Penn State, I know they have the explosive offense, but it's really been kind of kept at bay against. And hey, listen, UCLA is 17th overall in defense in the Big Ten, and in front of Purdue. And they were able to keep Penn State from running up the score on them after traveling across the country. I got Penn State traveling all the way across the country. I got James Franklin crying about their airport.
Our runway isn't big enough. Yeah,
I think this is like 24-23 Penn State, something in that range. I think Penn State could probably find a way to win this game. But, give me hey, listen. Just give me the Trojans plus the points. This is a really tough one.
Barry, you are invited to the tailgate next weekend, dude. You don't need an invite, and you're not getting out of shaking our damn hands. I can tell you this: you're gonna tell us,
Barry.
You're gonna tell us who you are, Barry, and we promise we won't tell anybody.
Oh, I'm gonna Doc Holiday him. Forgive me if I do not shake hands.
Straight dox him.
Forgive me if I do not shake hands.
You want to be a Johnny Ringo.
Now that's a hell of a movie.
Yeah.
You're a daisy if you do. My favorite line. Apparently, that's a real line Doc Holliday used, actually.
Okay.
I heard that. Somebody said in the paperback, the Tombstone paper, he said that to somebody before he killed him, and they're like, I'm going to kill you, Doc Holliday. And he was like, "You're a daisy if you do."
Mhm.
Damn. Anywho, Matt, in the Coliseum, what do you got happening there?
Yeah, I'm with Kev on this. I'm going to take the hungry dog here. Again, USC back up against the wall. I mean, you got Clay Helton had a better record over the same period of time than Lincoln Riley right now, and Clay Helton got left, on the tarmac basically, and fired. So USC knows they got to win. They're at home. Penn State has been home for over a month, haven't left Happy Valley. They got to travel all the way across country to Los Angeles. I think it's the second furthest trip of the year, other than what we saw Miami going to. Where were they at last week? Cal. So it's a travel situation. You don't know how your team's going to respond. Singleton missed time last weekend, the Penn State running back. To your guys' point, USC is terrible on run defense. They're going to try to pound the ball. I'm USC. I'm trying to make Drew Aller beat me, trying to throw the ball. And USC's total defense is improved, but obviously not the run defense. Can Miller Moss get the ball out? Is he going to have enough time? That's another thing. Penn State's opponents, overall records, 10-15 that they played so far. And 4 of those 10 wins are Illini wins. So 40% of one team. I don't think they've had an unbelievably hard schedule to date. UCLA is terrible. They've gotten all their teams at home. Yes, they beat a mediocre to decent West Virginia team on the road. So they do have one true road win under their belt, but I don't put too much stock in that. So I'm going to take the hungry dog here. You're giving me the points at home with the team kind of with their backs up against the wall. I'm expecting them to perform and get it done and stay within at least 5. So give me USC +5.
And I'm going to half a unit on both these, Matt.
That's the same with me. I'm half. Yeah, I'm half.
Okay. Kev apparently is going to get a kick out of whoever it is. Barry, I'm sure he knows you and just would never expect it. You said you think Barry's one of your brother's friends, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not a friend with my brother. That he's in the same friend group. Like, but to know my little brothers, to be friends with him, you can't. If you don't like JC, something's wrong with you. So the dude keeps people laughing consistently, and he's making his world famous pulled pork for the tailgate. So that'll be awesome.
And I haven't met him yet, but I'll finally get to meet him, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Okay, so we're moving down to Baton Rouge, where we're gonna see we'll see if Brian Kelly can get this Tiger team, push them into more of a legit college football playoff discussion here, because I don't think anybody really thinks they're a top 10 team this year. Ole Miss rebounded
last week
very well last week at South Carolina. Even though I did love Shane Beamer talking about how every time that South Carolina got a first down, an Ole Miss player was injured. And he said he counted 12 guys would go down, and then they watched the film of the week before against a couple weeks before against Wake Forest. Same players were doing the same crap. So he called out Lane Kiffin on that. So I enjoyed that a little bit. Ole Miss, 3.3 or 3.5, you guys?
3.5.
3.5.
Ole Miss is a 3.5-point favorite in Baton Rouge. Do you see another loss here this early for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, who had high expectations? Or do you see, Brian Kelly's team laying another egg early? We'll start with you, Matt.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a page out of Kev's book here. Home dog in prime time in Death Valley, LSU at night. I'm not betting against them. I just don't see it. I don't care about Ole Miss bouncing back last week. I care about what OSU or LSU has done in Death Valley in prime time, and they're extremely hard to beat there. I just went like Kev does. I went with my gut on this one. I think, it could go either way. Yes, I did like, how Ole Miss did bounce back last week. They left no doubt at South Carolina. They were a hungry team. They were embarrassed about what happened to them versus Kentucky. Even though Kentucky's, a pretty decent football team. They've held their own all year, and I think give them their flowers. But I'm not betting against an LSU team that's trying to get themselves back into kind of the college football playoff. This win could go a long way for them, for both teams, really.
I was going to say, Ole Miss is putting themselves in a win the rest of the year if they lose. Yeah,
for both of them. So I think there's a lot on the line here, but I'm not going against a team at Death Valley in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. So give me the Tigers plus 3.5 at home, and play a little Baton Rouge calling.
Get that graphic switched. Apologies. Go ahead, Kev.
Operator, won't you put me on to
That's right.
All love down Baton Rouge. Yeah, little Garth Brooks there, dude. They're going to be so souped up on bourbon. It seems like it's been a little bit since they've had a big night game in Baton Rouge, wearing the white jerseys at night. Like, dude, like there is just, and this is a rivalry. Like, I mean, probably more so on the Ole Miss side, but this is a rivalry that goes back ages. You guys know it's my favorite bet in college sports. I'm rolling with it.
We're getting a shirt made, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
Dogs in prime time with keeping it orange and blue. Yeah, we are.
And by the way, this is Mississippi's 7th consecutive week with a game. LSU is coming off their bye week. They've had a full plus 2 weeks to prepare for this one. Give me Brian Kelly's Bayou Bengals here to cover the number.
It's a great point.
That is a very good point. They're tired. They're probably beat up.
Everybody starts to be a little bit beat up at this point in the season, and I really like what we're seeing from was it Grant Newsheim or what was that his name? Newsman or whatever. LSU's quarterback is really starting to play well.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. Niemeyer or Nessmeyer, something like that. Yeah,
they diddled around with, and Transitive Property would not agree with this because obviously they struggle with South Carolina, the same team Ole Miss hammered, but there's the emotions of college football that come into play here. I don't know if LSU wins this game, but that 3 and the hook, give me that. It could be like a 27-24 Mississippi game, and I still win. I love it. Give me the 3.5 points. I'm going a unit on this one, Matt.
I'm going a unit on this one as well. And some Brian Kelly stats here for you real quick. Brian Kelly and LSU off a full extra week of rest. Kelly's career as coach, he's 15-2 straight up and 12-5 against the spread.
I like the 7. I like that this is the bye week thing, and that this is their 7th game with no bye week.
Exactly.
That's going to come into play. So,
and Lane Kiffin has faced LSU 4 times. He's 2-2 at Ole Miss, and he's 0-2 against the spread on the road in Baton Rouge, losing by an average of 15 points per game.
Dude, it is arguably the toughest environment in college football at night in Death Valley.
I totally agree.
Sticking with home dogs and prime time, I feel like this next one fits the bill. It just fits it perfectly. So Colorado's looking like an adequate team, a lot more adequate than many people thought this year. Still have their deficiencies, but when you have a guy like Travis Hunter, I think he can always make a big play defensively when you need it, which you've seen so far. And Shedeur Sanders is probably an upper echelon quarterback. I believe he is. I like him. He's very accurate. And they make just enough plays, and now they've opened up their offensive game plan. They can run the ball. They've been using the running game a lot more, so that's going to be interesting. In K-State, I don't expect to see what we saw in Provo a few weeks ago, but we have seen at Tulane, hang in there and give them a game, which they could have won that game. So 4-point spread here for Kansas State. you kind of know what you're going to get with Kansas State, how they play, tough, hard-nosed, dependable. So,
Exactly.
Kev, we'll start with you. 4-point favorite, K-State in Boulder.
Where's the game?
In Boulder.
In Boulder.
And it's and what time is it? It's a 9 p.m. kick. So,
and who's favored? Yeah, dude. Like everything to me is screaming Kansas State because I think Kansas State's the more disciplined team. I think they're the more physical team. I think they're the team that I think that there's a level of Colorado that they can get silly and do stupid stuff and bite them in the ass. I think Kansas State can take advantage of it, but I don't think it's enough to cover 4 points. I get 4 whole points. Once again, I can lose this game by a field goal with a home dog in prime time and still win the bet. Give me the Buffs. And arguably they have the best 2 players in the game in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. The crowd is, they were really, really amped up to start the season last year. And then things went a little sideways on them. And they seem to be finding their stride. It's kind of weird. Is Deion Sanders a comeback story? I don't know. Give me the Buffs plus the 4 points at home. Home dog prime time. I can't add out a little bit of altitude. A little bit of altitude there, mile high.
Yep.
Give me the Buffs.
I'm looking at this game to Ryan's point earlier. I'm taking the more dependable, consistent team. Yes, they had a hiccup in Provo, but they usually, a Chris Kleiman coach team does not beat themselves. I think they're the more disciplined team in this matchup. I also look towards Dylan Edwards, former running back at Colorado. If you guys are looking for some prop plays, he's going to want to put it down Deion's throat here in this game. He's going back to Colorado, a chance to kind of show him, he transferred after last season, was a major part of their team last year. He'll be extra motivated here. So just a note there. But Kev's right. Colorado does probably have the 2 best players on the field. K-State quarterback Johnson, probably close third, right behind them. But I'm going to take the more dependable, I think, better coach team in this matchup and take the K-State Wildcats -4 on the road. I think they've learned their lesson from Provo. I think this will be a chance to kind of redeem themselves on another road trip. Colorado and Deion have been together for 17 games so far. As favorites, they're like 6-2-1. As underdogs, they're 2-8 straight up. Doesn't bode well for them. Their two wins straight up came the first time they've ever played a game with Deion at TCU, where they're 21-point dogs, and the second win came last week against UCF.
And that one against TCU, there was a guy from Derby, Kansas, who now plays for Kansas State named Dylan Edwards, who went nuts.
Nuts. And I was at that game. And I sprinkled a little. I think I got Colorado plus 350 on the money line during that game and had a nice little hit. But, the following week after that TCU game, they lost by 36 points. So I don't know if that matters much, but again, I'm taking what I think is the more dependable, more consistent team here in K-State. Give me the Wildcats -4.
I like it. I thought about it. I just can't go against. I can't go against my what I'm about. Right?
Yeah, I get you. It's a late game. It's 9:30 Central, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
There's 3 things certain in life, right? Death, taxes, and home dog in prime time. That's just
Kev loves
it. It is. you can't. Those are the 3 things you can count on. So the final matchup of the week before we get to the lock of the week.
The lock.
I'm 4-2, by the way. Anyway, Navy midshipman. Anyone? So I told you. Navy and Army. It's going to be a hell of a game. Ohio State at Oregon. Ohio State's a 3-point favorite. Number 2 against number 3 from Eugene. Not much more to say than just a heavyweight matchup.
5-0 versus 5-0.
Yep, we saw Oregon struggle a little bit earlier in the year, with Idaho, and then a very good Boise State team really should have beaten them. Let's just keep it real. Oregon escaped, so it sets up a 5-0 matchup. We'll start with you, Matt.
Yeah,
3-point favorite, Ohio State. You saw them. Iowa held them in check the first half last week, and then they just were catching rabbits out of their hats and just behind their back.
They got afterburners.
Yeah, they just kick one hand, use 3 fingers, whatever they got going on in the end zone. Is this crowd going to be enough to elevate the Ducks to a victory? Because really, for the most part, to cover 3, you're going to have to win the game. There's not many 1 and 2 point wins. So really, it's kind of looking like a victory for Oregon. So we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm not going against the Buckeyes and Mr. Day. I think they got too many playmakers. They got arguably the top 4. Now, Dylan Gabriel, you could throw him in there, but actual guys on the outside, playmakers, running backs, I think they got the top 4 in this game. Will Howard and Dylan Gabriel, I think, pretty comparable. Yes, they're different types of quarterbacks. You got Will Howard can do a little bit of both. Gabriel more pocket passer, can run too. But I know Oregon's a tough place to play. I just have seen Ohio State do it year after year after year. They're just built for it. And -3, maybe if there was a hook involved here, it would have been a little more leery. But they're the 4th ranked defense in the country. No, 1st ranked defense and 4th ranked offense. Now I know that could be some of their
who the hell have they played?
Exactly. That I was going to make the point. They haven't played much.
Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa. Iowa, that juggernaut offense there.
I know. Nobody. I know.
I love you brought the Shaggy out of Kevin.
It's not to say we did, Scoob.
Oregon's 1-4 against the spread this year. Like we had talked about. They had trouble with Idaho. They're a slow starting team to me. The first half, it just takes them a minute, kind of a little bit like Penn State. And they kind of let teams hang around. They're not going to get that chance against Ohio State. So if it's less than a field goal or less, I'm taking the Buckeyes. They're built for it. Give me the Bucks all day long.
And Ryan Day, he trusts.
I do.
Sam Adams. You trust Sam Adams too.
Your buzz. Yeah.
All right, Kev.
Where's the game?
Okay.
Who's the favorite? It's ultimately going to be the week this royally kicks me in the teeth, right? But I liked Oregon to win the national championship before the season started, and it started to vary. And a lot of the things that made it vary was that game against Boise State. I'm telling you right now, folks, Boise State's for real.
They're good.
Yeah, and Janty's the best player in college football. Like Travis Hunter's is really good. I'm leading in Janty.
They're good.
He did it again last week. He's on pace for 2,400 yards and some like 28 touchdowns. I mean, more than 28 touchdowns, but he's on pace for almost 2,500 yards in the 12-game season. So what Oregon has found out, what Oregon has fixed is they started protecting Gabriel. He was sacked a lot in the first couple games, including against Idaho. They have seemed to really fix. I mean, they were just absolutely. The score does not indicate how bad they beat Michigan State's ass. They dominated that game. Now I know it's a common opponent here, and Ohio State beat them a little bit worse. But I think if you looked at like how bad did we actually get beat, that stat would probably lean Oregon's way. I get the better quarterback in my opinion. Actually, I don't think it's an opinion. Dylan Gabriel is better at quarterback. I get what I think is the better coach. I really believe in Dan Lanning. And I get we already talked about what the toughest environment in college football is. This is probably 2. At night in Eugene, Autzen Zoo, 60,000 people on top of you. I think the Ducks not only cover, but I'm going to the window with the money line on this one. I think Oregon wins. I think it's really tough place to play. Go all the way out on the road out there. The last time they played, I'm pretty sure Oregon beat them in Columbus. This was obviously before they joined the conference. Man, give me the Ducks. Give me the home dog in prime time, college game day there. Like, give me the Ducks, dude. Give me the Ducks.
By the way, I'm putting 1 unit on this one.
Get
All right.
the Ducks. So that makes it that everyone's favorite part of the show. Matt.
Earmuffs.
Yeah.
Earmuffs.
No, I trust you on this one, you know? I feel like
Say this every week.
I feel like this is a good one because if you lose this one, you just know it's not meant to be. So
yeah.
We'll start since we started with Matt for 2, 3, 4. Kev, you went first on that one, last one, right?
Yeah, I've been bouncing back and forth on this all day for a while. Like, I really want to bet Ball State plus a -6.5 against the Kent State, the worst team in America, in my opinion.
I looked at that. Yeah.
I like BYU at home this week, I think, against Arizona. -5. I really like that game. I love Tennessee -15 against Florida. That's a bounce back, get angry. That's kind of like the Ole Miss South Carolina game last week. But I'm going to go with a game here, and this I might be falling into the trap line. Guys, I'm actually going to go with a road favorite in prime time. But it just doesn't mean that much to the Wolfpack of Nevada. Oregon State is a better, more physical football team that is going to be able to run the ball on the Wolfpack. Give me Oregon State -4 at Nevada. The line now, listen, I might be walking right into those trap lines I've talked about on the show plenty of times. The line doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think this is an Oregon State team that is kind of tested, they know who they are. This is a good football team. Nevada is not. Nevada's playing their 7th game in a row. Oregon State, I believe, is coming off. They beat Colorado State, but it might have been last week. But I just give me Oregon State. They're the more physical team. They're more rested. They got McCoy, who's a dual threat back there. Give me Oregon State -4 at Nevada.
At Nevada, okay. Got it. I was looking at some of those games you mentioned too, because you're right. Kent State is brutally bad. But
the thing is, I don't know if Ball State's any good either. I don't know if I want to give. I don't want to.
Yeah, almost a touchdown.
Points. Yeah. On the road, will anybody show up? Probably not.
Right. I'm gonna dip in the well of the state I'm in right now, Massachusetts, to another team that is pretty hot garbage in UMass. And you got an SEC team traveling out to Massachusetts in Missouri.
What in the hell is that schedule, man?
Coming off a total demolishing, undressing in College Station last week to the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies. They were embarrassed. They just didn't get calls. It was a nightmare for them. Couldn't do anything.
Any call would have saved them. But.
It wouldn't have. It's they were bitching and moaning about some of the calls, and they were so far gone it wasn't going to matter. But I get an SEC team coming off a terrible loss, coming to play a terrible team in UMass at -27. So I get it under 4 touchdowns. I'm thinking Mizzou unloads on this team. And doesn't let them score. Maybe 7 points, but this is something where Mizzou should be scoring 40 plus in this game, 35 at least, and only giving up 7. So I'm taking Mizzou -27 on the road at UMass.
It's
Mizzou,
at UMass.
It's at UMass.
That's why I said I can't believe this schedule. Who made that?
Ron Gunther making the schedule for freaking Missouri.
I know. And I'll check, but
are we giving up the home game to go play Western Michigan at Ford Field again, or what?
So, as a favorite of over 24 points, Missouri's 41-0 straight up since 1990. Okay, I know that's straight up. They're 23-17-1 against the spread, but coming off a loss in those games, they're 9-0 straight up and 7-2.
I love the depths that you've gone to make sure you get this one right. I think you've opened every thesaurus you could read.
It really, to me, it doesn't matter because I'll probably still get it wrong.
Almanac from 1950. You know,
I wish
all
I
you gotta
had.
do is get Phil Steele's got you. Phil Steele, you just break the Phil Steele almanac out, boy. Phil Steele's got you. So
Yeah, I should
I
probably.
like it though because UMass is hot, dark doo doo.
Yeah, they're bad.
Mizzou has Luther Burden, so yeah.
So that's what I'm going with.
I like it. So, as you guys know, my cash money pick.
Oh, by the way, wait, real quick.
Hold the confetti, guys.
Hold on. Matt is 1-6 in his locks.
Yep.
1-6.
His one win, Buffalo -4.5 against UMass.
That's right. That's a good point.
Hey, just pick whoever UMass plays every week.
That's my strategy with Kent State. That's I will be going against Kent State next week. You can guarantee it. I don't know who they're playing, but I'm taking.
That's a great point. Thank you.
You know what? Every week against UMass, I like it. We'll do it.
UMass and Kent State.
I might dip into that well again.
I found a team to pick against. You guys might like, but I also have found. I'm sticking with the service academies this week, huh?
Okay.
I'm going with Army this week.
Okay.
5-0 against the atrocious UAB train wreck Blazers with Trent Dilfer at the helm, who's causing all kinds of problems. They have so much going on behind the scenes. He doesn't answer the questions for the media like they want. He's telling them, like, let me bring my grandkids to the pressers. He's pissing off the media. He's like, it's not like it's Alabama. Why can't I have my grandkids up? UAB had a storied tradition. Yeah, I know. Okay. And then last week, by the way, Tulane smoked them 71-20. Okay. Now let's
they put 71 on them.
They put 71 on UAB last week. And let me just tell you guys something. If you haven't watched Army puts points up. Okay.
They're good.
Army is good. They just put up 42 plus the last 2 weeks. They smoked Temple 42-14 2 weeks ago. They just beat Tulsa 49-7 last week. It's a 24-point spread. It's in Annapolis. UAB
West Point.
Sorry, West Point. My bad. West Point.
Yeah.
West Point. My bad. All right. It's in West Point. UAB doesn't play defense. Army scores points. I could see with a 24-point spread here, I could easily see 49-20, 45-17 easily.
Type game.
I like Army covering at 24 here. A lot of reasons, too, is just so much going on there at UAB is not about football. Those guys' heads aren't in the game right now. A lot of distraction. Army's motivated, and I like watching them play on CBS Sports Network. And I'll be probably watching that this week because I've got it as one of my picks, as long as it's not at 2:30 anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it's a smart pick, you guys. I looked through everything. I was looking at Army, who they've beaten, how they're trending, and where UAB is trending. And
so UAB got smoked against Tulane last week.
They had like 1,000 people in the stands, by the way.
Hold on. So understand this. So they played last week. So that's one of the things I love about betting service academies is teams who are coming off a bye. I really like them against service academies because of what service academies are doing, nobody else in the country is doing. The Army is the #1 rushing offense in America at 361 yards a game. They're out rushing Boise State with their Heisman candidate Janty. UAB is 126th against the run at 227 yards per game. Ryan, to quote my boy Brad Evans sometimes, fade or follow. I am following your pick straight to the window. As a matter of fact, I followed your pick straight to the window on Saturday morning, and I parlayed it with Army. I took a Service Academy parlay to start the day, and it paid me well. So I love this pick, Ryan. Well done, my friend.
Awesome.
I'm all over it.
Awesome. The last 3 games Army has played: 37-14 over Rice, 42-14 over Temple, 49-7 over Tulsa, which is averaging out to be a victory rate of over 30-some points a game. So,
hey, he won't win it, but maybe he should get an invite. Bryson Daly, the quarterback for Army, 602 rushing yards on the season with 10 touchdowns, 380 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Kid's playing really well.
This could be some of those. You remember, Kev, when you were probably in the Army back in the mid to late 90s, Army was good, right? Like, I remember.
I watched Army beat Illinois in the Peach Bowl in 1985 in Atlanta. In Atlanta, I was there in the pouring rain. David Williams' last game.
There was some ranked matchup. This year's matchup, I bet you both teams are going to be ranked.
And I'll be on the under because that number's going to be like 55.
Yeah, this Army-Navy, I feel like, are they eligible for the college football playoff if they're undefeated?
Absolutely.
They should be. I was going to say, because if Army and Navy, if they're both like 11-0 coming into that game, like, I feel like whoever wins that game.
They could get the group of 5 bid. Liberty was struggling with FIU tonight. I don't know if they pulled that one off.
And Boise State's already, yes, I was going to say, and Boise State's already lost, and I know it was at Oregon, but I still think if one of those teams is undefeated, that they should get it. So, but yeah,
Army's got to play Notre Dame, and I imagine Navy.
That's going to be a hell of a game. I'm telling you, Army's going to give them a battle. So, real quick before we get off here, there's people up in arms that GNT is getting more Heisman hype than Rourke, but his yardage already dwarfs previous Rourke from Indiana. Sean always with oblivious random. Spencer Rattler may be starting for the Saints this weekend. Yes, I saw that. Does Oregon beat Ohio State? I think they answered that for you, Sean.
One said yes, and one said no.
And Barry said Ohio State -10.
Yeah, Barry loves a -10. I'm with Barry.
Go take an alt line, boy. You get some juice on that one.
Man, well, that's probably plus 450.
Now, Matt, you taking my Army pick to the window?
I'm going to take it to the window. I'll show you my ticket.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Hey, look, I'm just trying to help out. Just trying to help my friends out. All right.
I love it.
I might actually put some money on it myself, but we'll keep that.
I had Liberty and FIU over 55.5 tonight. And it was 24-24 going into overtime. And Liberty scored first to make it 31-24. So we're at 55, and FIU fumbled. Game over.
Liberty is getting so lucky, man. Like
I don't know what to say. It's just one of those. Yeah. We gotta. I need the Dodgers to hold on here, and I'll have a positive day. But yeah, minus that. Woo.
The Dodgers are winning now?
No, sorry, the Padres.
I was about to say the Padres were up big.
It's bottom of the 7-6-5. Still.
Oh no! Whoa! You can't tell Kev stuff. He DVRs all this and he goes back and watches it.
No, I'm all right. I'm good.
I've done that a few times that has made him upset. So okay, I'm like, touchdown Cowboys or whatever. He's like, come on, man. So, anyway, as we get off here for any
night, Ryan.
What'd you say, Kev?
Tomorrow night, you got your show?
Yeah, I do. Outside the gridiron, I do. We're gonna make just straight up picks for this week's games. I think we might be doing one different game than we did tonight. They want to do Bama, South Carolina, but I'm like, I don't see how Bama doesn't crush them this weekend. So I don't really know about that. I'm trying to think of storylines we're going to discuss. We'll probably discuss. We've discussed Indiana a little bit, but just different topics and storylines heading into this week. We'll break all that down. So yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, it'll be streaming on Mike Farrell's X account. So yeah, good. That's right. And Kev, come on! If you guys haven't been reading Kev's articles on 200 columns, man, they've been pretty good. So
I love that. I gotta catch up on them.
Matt's got a hoops one coming any week.
I'll do a hoops one this year.
Yeah. All right, we appreciate it.